Hello and welcome to another episode of What's Inside. Today we are looking at the 2013 version of Chutes and Ladders from Hasbro Games. As far as I know, this is the most current version. It's aimed at ages 3 and up. Takes, I think, it's not very long to play this one. It doesn't give a time frame. But it's aimed for 2 to 3 players. It says there's some adult assembly, that's for the spinner. And inside we're going to find the game board, a spinner with an arrow, 3 pawns with plastic stands, and instructions. So let's open this up and see what we got here. This is one of those classic games that kids have generally played. So yeah, if you grew up and you didn't play this, you were probably deprived as a child. Alright, so there's our spinner. That's really cheap looking. There's our 3 stands. Alright, the box quality is kind of average. Alright, here's our rule book. It's just a folded sheet of paper. Pretty straightforward. It does show how to assemble the spinner. So let's go ahead and look at that. Here's our spinner. The board anyway, we saw the piece here for the plastic, and our 3 cardstock characters with a nice mix of demographic there. Yeah, the cardstock's actually pretty good here. Not too bad, not great, not terrible. So let's get that out of the way and look at the board. The board is a little thin for my taste, for my liking, as it were. This one's a little cheap. We looked at some of the other stuff from Hasbro, and Hasbro is actually a really good company most of the time. But this is definitely a lower end product. There's lots of little nicks along the edge of the board where the sticker here has been put down. It feels cheap, like it doesn't have much gloss on it, so if this gets wet, it's going to be ruined. And the quality of the board is pretty terrible. The joints here are fine. It's this one here that the seam I worry about, because it's a 4-fold. This seam here is what's holding it together, and this paper is really fairly low end, and this seam is not really strong. So yeah, it's thin board. I don't like that. I would rather pay a little bit more for a higher quality product, but this seems to be the version that they're going with these days. These pieces are fine. It's acceptably thick. It's a little thinner than I would like, but it's thick enough to do the job, and it'll hold up. Same with these pieces. These are actually okay. They come with little stands here. And these are actually pretty decent little plastic stands, and they just kind of wedge in there. So if you're going to be missing anything, it's probably going to be the spinner. Maybe this piece. The instruction book could be missing, but it's a pretty simple game. We'll do a how to play on it in case you lose the instructions. So yeah, this is a classic game, updated with some new looks and different kids, that sort of thing. It seems to be a pretty diverse imagery. So the art's okay, not really my style, but professionally done. So I don't really have an issue with that. But yeah, overall, it's pretty average. I wouldn't pay more than about $5 for it though. It's not worth more than that. So if you find it for $5 or less on like a holiday sale or something, yeah, pick it up. But otherwise, there aren't a lot of small pieces. The only thing I'd worry about is this piece that holds in the spinner parts. That could get pokey, or a piece could come off of that. So other than that, once it's assembled, I don't think you're going to have any real issues with it. Oh, this spinner plastic piece is garbage. I bet that. Just trying to put the board on. So let's see if I can do this. Yeah, you'll want to squeeze these pieces in when you pop it in the back of the board, just kind of press it in a little bit with your fingers and push it through, or you'll bend it like I just did. And yeah, that doesn't, I don't have a lot of faith that's going to stay together. So yeah, I would definitely look into getting replacement spinners. They are made by other companies that have numbers on them, and this is just a 1 through 6 spinner, or get a D6, because the 6-sided die would easily do the same thing. They're just too cheap to give you a dice, I guess. I would have preferred a dice, actually, because that's easier to replace. You can get replacement spinners that aren't necessarily for this game, but you can find them online. I have some I got off like Amazon. There was like a 6-pack for I think $3 or $4. So yeah, for under $5 you can usually replace spinners. But that's the that's surprisingly janky piece, and it's just that one tip there is easily bent. But yeah, that's what's inside Chutes and Ladders. It's the 2013 version from Hasbro. It says made in the USA with US and imported parts. So if made in the USA is important to you, then this is definitely going to be up your alley. But like I said, I won't pay more than $5 for it. There's not a lot here to really justify paying more than that for, and the quality is a little questionable, especially with the board. The rest of the pieces are okay, I guess. But that'll do it for this episode. As always, thank you so much for watching and supporting the channel, and we hope to see you on the next episode of What's Inside.